Good afternoon, everyone. This is Moshe Frank from COLlive.com. We have the honor today of having the director of FFH Pesach Hotel Program, Mrs. Alysson Feldman, here joining us today. How are you, Mrs. Feldman?
I'm doing well. Happy to report healthy, which is the most important thing during this scary time.
Definitely. So, how is it to have 1,000 people rely on you for Pesach, and then the hotel gets canceled?
So it was quite a roller coaster. Planning the whole event in general is a roller coaster, and not to say it pales in comparison, but it absolutely pales in comparison to this year, what went on, and just the roller coaster of decision making and being hand in hand with our guests in this decision. And first, not sure, we weren't sure how serious to take it in the beginning. And then it became more apparent what a big deal this was, and taking into consideration some of our guests were elderly, and deciding how much we wanted to, in the beginning, we didn't think we were endangering anyone. But once we realized that we might be endangering people, because it was actually the elderly people that were most concerned about what they were going to do for Pesach if the program canceled. So it was such a big decision. It was actually, in a very odd way, a relief when it was finally deemed we're just canceling. And it was in a way a relief, even though so much work was ahead of us and it was so emotional, but it was in a way a relief.
So are you offering a food catering option for homes?
Yes, so we actually just closed our orders because we have a small staff doing the kitchen work because they want to keep it as sanitary as possible. The chefs actually are concerned as well with their well-being. Kashrus and health, are our main, and of course that the food be delicious, but those were the main concerns this year. And we did flip the idea. We went from hotel program as fast as possible. We switched to giving some people the food option. But that again is not something that was quick. We had to work out all the kinks and make sure that we never want to promise something that we can't deliver. And again, to take people's Pesach, this is someone's yontif, so you have to take it very seriously no matter what you're offering somebody. So at this point, we closed the orders, and hopefully all will be good on that, yes.
What's your cancellation refund policy?
So our policy always was to give 30% back or hold the entire of their deposit. We hadn't taken full monies yet. Our program, we require full money much later. So we were just dealing with deposits. So we give 30% back of the deposit, or we give back, you could keep the entire amount for next year. So we did that. We stuck with that policy mainly. And then of course we dealt with some people individually based on some really awful circumstances.
And people who paid full, what was the policy then?
So people who paid full, we gave them back everything that didn't have to do with the deposits. And then the deposit was that same, the deposit is in the beginning 30% of your booking. And then from that 30%, we had that same policy for deposits.
And how did the guests respond to your refund policy?
So it happened to be that I would say 95% of our guests, or even more, were lovely, understanding, kind, giving us brachas, very, very flabbergasted by the situation, and very much understanding that we were just as shocked as they were, and we were dealing with it as fast as we could, as kindly as we could, as streamlined as we could.
Great, it's very impressive. I'm impressed by your refund policy. I know other hotel programs perhaps weren't as generous as you. And is there any other message you'd like to tell the wider audience about Pesach Hotel in this year?
Well, I guess I would like to say, that from FFH and from all of us, we're, the main thing is that we should all be healthy. Nobody had any idea about the seriousness of this, and And, you know, like I said, once we decided to cancel and we were just, you know, looking at the news like everybody else, you know, and so surprised and so shocked at the developments, and really everything falls to the wayside and it just becomes about people staying healthy and safe. And do I have a lot on my mind about everything to do with Pesach? Yes. Do I have to stop now and make Pesach for my family? Which after I planned a year of a whole program, I have to now be, you know, starting from scratch here. But, you know, bottom line is we all have stress in our lives, but we have to focus on being healthy. And I would also just say that I want to thank, you know, the customers who calmly, who could put themselves in our shoes. That's what I have to just, that's really a lesson for everyone. Your entire life is put yourself in the other person's shoes. Don't jump to assume anything. Don't assume. That would be my message.
Great.
And I really wish everyone a safe, healthy, happy, kosher Pesach.
Great. It's funny that my first art show I ever did in my life was in Lake George, Pesach, and you guys were one of the guests.
Yes, we were. And we loved that experience so much that we wanted to reinvent it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your time and much, much success.
Thank you so much. Be well.